That worked. I don't know if it worked. Hello everyone, hello. I hope you can hear me. My name is Fiona, I use she, her pronouns, and this is another Too Long Didn't Read Tabletop RPG stream. Hope you're doing okay. Let me know if the music is too loud. Basically, when I'm doing these streams, I'm testing things out, and I genuinely can't tell if it's too loud. I've put it down incredibly low. Typically, as soon as I said that, it just goes completely off. So I'm going to do it. If it gets too irritating or it's just a bit confusing or whatever, just let me know and I'll just turn it off in the chat because that's really easy for me to do. But I hope you're doing well. I've had a bit of an interesting couple of days. Turns out nobody likes doing admin, least of all myself. So I've been trying to avoid it where possible, but I've done a few things today. I did what's called productive procrastination. Which is basically you do all the other things rather than the actual things you should do, and those things that you should do, which will literally take maybe an hour or two, nah, they're still over there. Procrastination Barbie is one of my favourite TikTok videos just now, which is great. Tunes, hello Hazard Stripes, hello Hamilton. Let me know, as I said at the beginning, let me know if it's too loud or too quiet or anything in between, because I genuinely can't tell. I'm actually using, I'll actually plug him at the beginning of the episode. It is in the description notes, but I am using music from Travis Savio. I think he's known as RPG Music Maker on YouTube and Patreon, and he does a lot of RPG adventure music. This particular track is from the Strixhaven album he did, and it turns out I really struggle to pick music. Mostly because when I listen to it, I'm like, oh yeah, this works, and then suddenly there'll be a massive combat piece of music in the middle of it, and I'm like, can't use that. So we've got this one on a loop for now, which might seem irritating, so apologies for that, but I just wanted to test it out, and at some point I will find some actual lo-fi beats, which I think would fit certainly this RPG a little bit more than this one, but I just thought, I'm trying it out, worst that could happen is that it doesn't happen, you know. The other thing I'd want people to check and let me know is that I've done a plugin, I've downloaded a plugin where apparently you can get automatic captions on the actual video itself. So if you go to YouTube and the little gear, you should be able to find them there. So let me know if that works as well. Because you couldn't do it before, I couldn't do it at the time of like streaming. It would appear afterwards, like as an automatic thing. But I believe now it should be on there because I'm using the same program that does the automatic ones down in this little corner here. Spamming the hearts. Oh, thank you, Hamilton. That's so kind of you. I mean, I don't know if anything comes of it. I did see that I had two streams actually that got comments on them, and they were both on the Twitch ones from the before times. One was about Dragonbane, saying like, oh, that looks like Duckwing, which was the main image, and then Girls Run These Worlds just saying like, oh, this looks really cool on Fate Accelerated, so you know what, I take those as a win. But yes, I hope everyone is doing well in the chat. Apparently my event is going live. Thank you, Discord. So let's just get straight onto it. So today we are looking at an RPG called TROIKA by Luke Gearing, I believe, but also published by, and I did practice this, but does that mean I'm going to get it right now? I believe it's the Mensalon Arts Council. And I'm going to flip to the other things. What? It has them. Alright, I'm going to flip. Wait. Gotta do the other one. There we go, flipped it to the other screen. Sorry, I'm also using other tech as well today, so it's exciting. So yeah, so this is where you can get it. I'll put it again using Nightbot. See, this is all my skills coming together now. So one day I will be a proper streamer. Although I do think Nightbot does take. Oh, is Nightbot's out quick today? It must have had its coffee. But this is where you can get it. TROIKA. I will say there's a lot of TROIKA stuff out there. There's settings, there's extra tables, extra adventures and stuff like that. But we're just gonna look at the core book today, which is this. Now, I am going to be straight up honest here. I don't like the cover. I know. So the little story about why I picked this is so that I was on as a guest on a podcast called Dunking on the DM, who have actually been on Where before, and they were like, what one shot can we run for you? And they put a list of stuff, and I saw TROIKA was on there, and I recognised it in my mind's eye, the Minority Report, that it had this thing, and I thought to myself, no, I need somebody else to run this for me, because I will never run it for myself. And you know what? It was one of the best RPG one-shots I've been a part of it. It was really fun. It was really like imaginative. Now, obviously, I will put that down to the GM is playing style. Ben, if Ben's watching, thank you so much for that. So I know that I definitely have biases when it comes to certain covers of RPGs, and that shouldn't put people off. For me, this sort of this cover reminds me a lot of the old Terry Pratchett novel covers, and they just made me feel ill inside. And only recently have I started reading Terry Pratchett, and what a great book, what great book series, and what great humour and stuff like that. So that is what I'm going into this particular core book about, is that it is just one of those Terry Pratchett covers and then going into it. So let's have a quick look. Let's have a quick read. So TROIKA is a complete yet wildly open role-playing game. Players can expect to fly through mystic space, get lost in infinite cities of gods, and meet strange and wonderful people, all whilst using a robust and familiar game system. With just one book and a couple of six-sided dice, you'll be able to provide years of adventure for you and your friends. Once you're ready for more, there is an abundance of material printed by the Melisson Arts Council and TROIKA's huge number of third-party publishers and fans. Hooray! So, inside the book, we will get a full automated character creation system that generates exciting starting points for players to build on, weighty lists of spells and enemies to encounter, a baked-in plane hopping setting. Plane hopping? What is that? I joke because of day of recording, or day of streaming, sorry, I should say, the Planescape books covers have been announced and released for pre-order and stuff. So this has come at a really serendipitous time, I think, for me reading this. So yeah, a baked-in plane hopping setting which draws you into the world and allows you space to build upon its sturdy foundations, and then lavishly is illustrated by Jeremy Duncan, Dirk Detwiller Lecce, Sam Mamili, and any award-winning Andrew Walter. Well, good. I've seen the artwork in the book. I'm going to put a picture up here for one at the beginning. Look at those artworks. I love those sort of lino print ones. I think they're amazing. But yeah, and there's another one there. See how that I love. I just don't like the cover at all. Anyway, so that's all you do. But as I said, you can get that on the Melisson Arts Council website. I'll also say their website is rubbish in the sense of putting things together. Normally, maybe it's just me. Normally, the images are on the right-hand side rather than the left-hand side. But maybe they're in a country that obviously reads the other way around. Because I always thought images were supposed to be on the right, and you had the text on the left. Rather, what they've done, they've put images on the left and then the text on the left. Oh dear. But that's where we can get it. But enough. I will stop showing that, and we'll get on to TROIKA, the PDF. So as before, I've got roughly 2 hours to go through this. It is 120 pages looking at the PDF. So we'll get through as much as we can, but obviously, we'll just, if we don't get through it all, then that's that. We're just, it's, again, I like getting through as much as I can, but I don't want to rush going through it. I want to understand. That's the main aim of these streams, is that we understand what the main mechanics are, how to create a character in it, and any sort of a general advice for like GMing or what's interesting about the setting. Those are sort of my general aims for these sort of things. And yeah, that's all I have to say on that. So let's just dive in. So there's the cover, as I've already said. And already we've got tables. I assume these are, if you bought the physical copy, they would be on the inside. That's sort of the first couple of pages of the book. Very Morkborg. I think also very OSR as well. Obviously, to me right now, these mean nothing. It feels very... I'm just looking there. There's a table there that says random spell. I suspect that is... it feels a bit like DCC, so Dungeon Crawl Classics, or Dungeon Classic Claw. I can never remember which one it is. But it looks like in this particular book, there's links to stuff that it links forward thing, which I absolutely love. What I'm going to try and do though, I'm going to try and fit to one full page. There we go. So I do find like it's a little bit and it's just 2 pages because I don't know where to look when I'm reading these things. So, I was completely wrong about the writer. I'm so sorry for that. It was written by Daniel Sell. I think it's because I opened up the Acid Fantasy setting, Acid Death Fantasy, which is here, and that is by Luke Gearing. on that front. So I have got that setting. So this one, in case you're interested, if you're like, I really like TROIKA, even though Fiona has not gotten anywhere into it, Acid Death Fantasy, which I think has a much better cover, by the way, that is a full setting that uses and is supported by TROIKA. And I can already see here, there is Link's officer. I can see the words Dune Rider there. So, hey, we've actually done some Dune film watching recently. And I was actually thinking of maybe doing the Dune quick starts at some point. So, anyway, those are good to know. But we're not going to look at that. So, just to re-emphasize again, because I got that wrong, TROIKA is written by Daniel Sell and it is published by Melisson Arts Council. I think I pronounced that three different ways. So, yes, let's go down. So, here we go. So, we've got the introduction, which is 1 page. Great. Character creation, which looks long. It's 38 pages, but I know for a fact it's because there is 66 different classes, and basically you choose your class randomly by rolling the 66. So again, there's a couple of other RPGs that have done that we've looked at. Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay, that a lot of rolling and lots of randomly determining who you are. So we might not go into all the different characters for that, but what I might do is actually roll some dice and see how far we get. Now, as soon as I say that, I look around and I don't have any dice right next to me. I literally just put away some very nice dice, so if I go grab those for now. Incidentally, maybe it's another thing I need to promote a little bit more of. These dice I've got, I'm going to be using to I don't know, help me in this, with the stream, are from Tabletop Dominion, who have given me an offer code for Wear, which is very exciting. Basically, if you're interested, it's Tabletop Minion, and they, if you put in Wear, W-A-I-R, into checkout, you will get 10% off. So that is very exciting. I will admit, I used somebody else's code before I got my own, which is very embarrassing. So I'll be sure to put up all the show notes on that and update that as well, because that only happened yesterday. So I'm just getting my D6s out. Then we've got the rules, which I guess take 1 page, presumably because it's a 2d6 system, I believe. And then you've got some advanced skills, luck, stamina, initiative, actions, other concerns, damage, blah, 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 blah. All the other wonderful good stuff. What I will say, and again, maybe I'll put a link to it in the show notes, the stream notes even, is that the one shot that I played, there wasn't much in terms of combat. It was definitely felt very Monty Python-esque, very odd, very surreal, and that is just my impression of what TROIKA is. It's very surreal in its place, and I really enjoyed it. It allowed us to be bonkers and wild with our character creations and doing stuff. So you'll see this with the character stuff. So let's go straight into introductions. Oh, and then at the bottom, here are all the tables, which I was right. They're on the front end pages, so that's quite useful to have. And I like how there's a table called Oops. Maybe there's going to be something for criticals. Oh, and of course there's a character sheet at the end. Let's have a quick look at the character sheet, actually. Yes, I remember this now. It feels it's very simplistic. Looks like it's all on 1 page, which is fantastic, because I lied. It's on 2 pages. And there's some oops tables there. Okay, so oh wow, that's a great image. Oh, that must be this Blancmange and Thistle. That must be the quick start scenario. I didn't realize there was quick start in there. Anyway, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. So yeah, it looks like you've got your skill, stamina, and luck, and all the damage and what's spent, and all that sort of thing there. Great, but a very simplistic character sheet on that front. It's 2 pages. But yeah, I think we only ever used the first one when I did it. Anyway, let's zoom back up. Ooh, professional. And let's look. See, that is a cracking image. So much better than that cover. Sort of very vibrant and odd-looking, different, surreal. Just like the colours of the background of the crowd that we've got going there. Really, really cool. Alright, introduction. You are reading a tabletop role-playing game, in brackets RPG, in which one player takes the part of the game master, in brackets GM, and prepares the world and controls the people and peril in it, whilst the other players create characters on a journey through that same self-world. Now you have the context and the key terms to explore this medium independently, and nothing I say here can fully instruct you on what is a deep and rich form of entertainment on par with the cinema or fly fishing. Wow, That's pretty cool. Treat it as you would any new hobby. Beyond that, what you have here is TROIKA, a science fantasy RPG in which the players travel by eldritch portals and non-elucidant labyrinth and golden sailed barges between unaccountable crystal spheres strung delicately across the humped-back sky. I have a suspicion maybe this is Spelljammer inspired. That sounds quite interesting. What you encounter, you know what, let me zoom in a little bit because the writing is a little bit tiny. Hopefully you folks can see that. What you encounter on these spheres and in those liminal places is anyone's guess. I wouldn't presume to tell you, though inside this book you will find people and artifacts from these worlds which will suggest the shape of things, the adventure, and the wonder in its gaps. Your game will be defined by the ways in which you fill them. Ooh, flavoursome writing. I'm excited. Character creation. So already, character creation on page 2, everyone. Page bloody 2. Fantastic. We don't have to wait. We have to wade through lots of lore or anything like that. We just get straight into it. I absolutely love that. So, how do we do character creation? So we get that character sheet that we saw on page 101. No, 110. Sorry. You roll. First off, you roll 1d3 plus 3 to determine your skill. And for those people who aren't in the know, because it did take me a little while to realise this as well, the way you get a 1d3 is that you roll a d6 and then divide it by 2. Or you could just get Google to do it. But Google. So that's what. So 1d3 to determine skill. Then you roll 2d6 plus 12 to determine stamina. And then you roll 1d6 plus 6 to determine luck. Interesting. Then record baseline possessions that every new character starts with. 2d6 silver pence, a knife, a lantern, a flask of oil, a rucksack, and 6 provisions. Then roll d66 on the background table and record possessions and skills. And that is it. That is literally it. A 5-step character process. Backgrounds. Backgrounds are everything your character was before you got a hold of them. They provide you with skills, possessions, and other special benefits where noted. Slide into the role and make it your own. Roll randomly to determine your starting background. Notice that they are only touch the edge of specificity. It is up to you to tailor them to the worlds you play in. Rework them or remove them entirely and replace them with your own unique version of the spheres. Boldly lay claim to the games you play. Create content recklessly and always write in pen. Always write in pen. I think I should have that on a t-shirt or something. Or have that like branded merch on that. I love that. Be bold. Make decisions. Make mistakes. You know. All right. So create your own backgrounds. Well, we probably won't go into that too much. But let's see what it says. When creating your own backgrounds, as a general rule, stick to 10 or so total points distributed in the range of 1 to 3, with 3 being someone who's already mastered their trade. Do not dismiss the importance of a description. They are the player's window into the world, but don't feel intimidated by them. Keep them simple and pack as much information into them as you are able. When they are short and evocative, the player will fill in the gaps. The backgrounds need not be balanced or equal to one another, but should instead be fun and flavorful. After making a new background, take a moment to consider the reaction of someone receiving it instead of some other entry in your particular and ever-changing list. Balance the enjoyment rather than the numbers. That's quite a nice little bit of homebrew advice, to be honest with you. Love that. So here you go. Here's the start of, I think so. I'm going to zoom out a little bit so you can see. So you can get, like I said, so it goes all the way from 11 to 66, and you always have a little flavoursome at the top, and then what possessions you get and the skills that you write down as well. So, I'll flick through them all in general, but I'm going to roll. Got my D66 here, and I'm going to roll. Incredibly, I just rolled a 66. I was hoping that I could like switch back and forth perhaps, but yeah, I guess we go straight to that one. Now, I've played other games where they've always had a really weird like final one there, but let's you know what, now we can switch to, can we? No. I was going to switch back to 2 pages, but it didn't work. It did not work. I'll go back, don't worry, I will go back in a second. What is that? That... Oh, we're back in Solemn Vale, everyone. Oh, my word. A zoanthrope. At some point in your past, you decided you didn't need it anymore. You found a anthropologist and paid them well to remove your troublesome forebrain and elevate you to the pure and unburdened beast you are today. What? Oh my word. No starting possessions. You have thrown off the shackles of civilization. You are probably nude. And then some advanced skills. Climb 3, run 3, strength 2, fist fighting 2, club fighting 2, wrestling 2. But you do get a special. You are immune to all mind-altering effects. You are able to speak, but usually choose not to. When you make an advancement checks for skills related to abstract thoughts such as spells and astrology, you must roll twice and succeed on both to improve them. Oh, cool! So every single sort of character class or character, being, I guess you call them. Each one of these. How many are there? I can't remember. I can't work out in my brain how many that is. It's not as many as I think it is. I was going to say, all 66 classes. That's not how many there are at all. There's like 36. That's the number I'm thinking of. There you go. But wow, so each of these sort of 36 classes then have a special rule, possibly could have a special rule between each one. Die does that. Recently, obviously, been running Die and been reading a lot about Die for the RPG that's coming out at the moment. And each one of those classes has a specific die that is associated with them. So a D6 is the Fool, and they get to do special things as a result. So that's quite cool. Like each of the classes here, perhaps each one of these sort of roles. Sorry, let's do roles instead. It's a little bit better than classes. Each of the roles here is sort of different and special. So that's quite cool. I'm gonna roll again. I mean, maybe these dice. I haven't used them in a game before, so maybe they're just always gonna roll high. I either have a 34 or a 43. Let's look at 34. So I'm going to zoom back out. Ooh. Let's do 43 first, because that's going to come up there quite close. A poorly made dwarf. Alright. Dwarves are known for being the finest artisans of the million spheres. Give a dwarf a rock, and they will make gold. Give a dwarf a boulder, they will make a dwarf. You are supposed to be the finest expression of dwarfy craftsmanship, a true masterpiece, a brand new dwarf like those made by the old masters. But you were deemed imperfect and abandoned. Very much like, it feels like very much like an auto-gnome. Again, another Spelljammer thing there. Possessions, you get a woodsman's axe and an empty firkin. Empty firkin. Advanced skills, you get 3 fist fighting, 3 awareness, 2 strength, 2 wrestling, 2 axe fighting. And the special is as a... Oh, I guess you could roll a 22 dwarf. I guess that is another roll. But so you, as the 22 dwarf, well, I guess we can look at that, what that is in a second, what their special is. But additionally, other dwarves will completely ignore you as if you were a piece of furniture or somebody's abandoned hat. Ever occasionally, they may openly examine and comment thoughtfully to themselves on your unforgivable flaws, possibly whilst marking areas for improvement on your body with a grease pen. Oh my god. To non-dwarvy eyes, you probably look like any other dwarf. You have a +4 sneak versus dwarves. Ooh, interesting. Also, I can already see that there's a typo. Additionally, is spelled wrong. Sorry. Well, let's keep going. What was 34 then? I'll zoom back out. Oh, Necromancer. The one I played last time, which I'm sure will come up in a second, I played a Paper Witch last time. That was so much fun. But I think maybe it was in the Acid Death Fantasy setting. I've gone past it completely, but there's the dwarf one, so they're special. Let's see what their special is. Well, actually, I'll read out the whole thing. You are a short, hairy, belligerent, alcoholic-dependent creature. The latter two may be linked, but you will fight anyone who suggests as such. Since there are no dwarf women, or men, technically, there are no dwarf children or dwarf families, so you can fully commit yourself to the important dwarven endeavours of creating fine art in unusual places. You intend to find the most unusual places ever seen in a million spheres. Your possessions, you get a masonry hammer, a roll of artist supplies. Advanced skills are 3 awareness, 2 sculpting, 2 painting, 2 metalwork, 2 construction, 2 strength, 2 fist fighting, 2 wrestling, and 1 hammer fighting. Your special is that dwarves may eat gems and rare metals as food replacements. You, in fact, vastly prefer the taste of rare minerals to mundane food. Dwarves are genderless. You are immune to all compulsions that play on a creature's desire for sex. What? This also means you do not have sexual organs. Instead of urinating, you excrete through sweating, thus explaining your odour. Gross. But cool. It's a different way of looking at it, and you know, some people don't. I don't know how often I would say this sort of like the idea of like sexual desire comes up in these particular games myself, but interesting special. Weird even. Weird is the word I'm looking for. Right, let's look at 34 was the other one I was doing. It's the other one I rolled. I think Paper Witch must have been in a different one. I'll look for Paper Witch because that was a really fun one. It might be in the other one now that I think about it. Oh, I just went past it. There you go. 34, Lonesome Monarch. You were the ruler of all you surveyed, a great conqueror, a lawbringer. Unfortunately, your horse sped off into the pixie forest, or the court magician ensured you disappeared, or you led a soiree into the stars to put your stamp on them as well. Either way, you are now a lost and lonely sovereign without a kingdom. No one has heard of you or your people. Most don't believe you and laugh, or worse, they don't believe you and shrug. Or worse, they do believe you and shrug at the vagarities of fate. Possessions, you have a nice weapon of your choice, a crown and a tired horse. Advanced skills you get is 3 etiquette, 3 fighting with your nice weapon, fighting in your nice weapon, 3 ride and 1 tracking, but no specials there at all. Alright, so there you go. So that's a little taste of what you can get. A member of Miss Kingsley's Dining Club there for 35 you could have found. But yeah, the Paper Witch was quite fun. Parchment Witch, there she is. Or there they are even. Sorry, I should not assume. I'll read this one out because look at that linograph that I rolled. So bloody cool. When I rolled it, that's what drew me to it. It was incredible. So the Parchment Witch, known for their smooth skin, midnight gatherings, and preternatural fear of rain and open flames. The Parchment Witches are long-dead sorcerers who cannot give up the vanity of life. They cover themselves in perfect paper skin, a patiently painted and immaculately folded imitation of life intended to hide ancient bone and gristle. You can tell why I absolutely loved this roll when I rolled it. So, possessions. There's a little bit more to it for Parchment Witches. So, you get a D6 rolls of parchment, vials of pigments and powders, a collection of brushes, and a sword cane. Advanced skills, you get 2 spell protection from rain, 2 spell callous strike, 2 spell quench, 2 spell true seeing, 2 spell 2 disguise, 2 second sight, 1 healing, 1 spell undo, and 1 spell random. So I guess we'll go into what spellcasting is in a second. Special, you are undead, and so do not need to breathe or circulate blood. You take double damage from silver weapons and regain stamina half as effectively from all sources. You must test your luck if outside in the rain and are made wet, are close to open flames, or suffer generally grievous wounds. A failure will see your skin ruined. If your skin is compromised, you are very obviously a walking corpse. Amazing. So there you go. So there's some examples. Again, I will, if you're following along at home, you can read them through in your own time. But some very cool, and I just like these images are a lot more interesting to me than what's on the cover. I'm going to keep saying that as if it's going to make anything better, and as if I'm going to be in the right as a result. Ooh. Don't freeze. There we go. Okay, I'm back. My computer had a little moment. All right. So. the rules. So first of all, let's roll the dice. There is only one dice type used in TROIKA, that being the D6. This can be used as a D3, a D6, a D66, a D666, and so on. Just to roll a D3, just roll a D6 and halve it, rounding up. That's what I said. To roll a 66 or a 666, just roll a D6 as many times, in order as there are sixes. Yeah. Most actions will be required to roll 2d6 and add them together as a roll under or a roll versus. Okay, so a roll under. Rolling under is throwing the d6 with the intention of scoring equal to or under a number. This will mainly be used in opposed situations such as climbing a wall or casting a spell. Rolling 2 sixes always results in failure. Okay, that's good to know. So critical fail is 6 and 6. Cool. So opposite to that, we have roll versus. The roll versus, mostly used for combat and other contests, roll occurs when two opponents each roll 2d6 and add any applicable bonuses. Then compare the results. The results total, the higher total winning. Okay, so in a duel, you might be rolling 2d6 and adding your sword fighting total, looking to beat your opponent who is doing something similar. Alright, so those are the two main dice types. Interesting. Also incredibly straightforward and simple for the GM to tell you, which is nice. Alright, advanced skills and spells. Characters will have a variety of advanced skills and spells granted to them by their background. The number given in the background plus their skill is referred to there as a skill total. What the hell does that mean? Sorry, I'm reading it through again. So the number given in the background plus their skill is referred to as a skill total. Write this on the character sheet. So for example, Bob is a freshly made Rhino Man with skill 4. This means he starts with 7 spear fighting, 6 run, 6 strength, and 5 gambling. I think that's from before, right? So, do I need to zoom up all the way to the top? Alright, so if I go to page 2 again. So you roll the d6, so you roll a d3 plus 3, and that determines how many skills you get. Like, you pick those skills, I'm guessing. Oh, damn. Brutal. Alright. Okay. Luck. Of all the numbers on your character sheet, luck is likely to fluctuate the most. The number represents your character's fortune and intuition tested whenever fate swipes at them. When this happens, the GM will ask you to test your luck or suffer the consequences. Ooh. Testing your luck. So to successfully test your luck, you must roll equal to or under than your current luck score. Every time you test your luck, you must reduce your luck score by 1, regardless whether the test was successful or not. Testing your luck is optional. You can always refuse the roll and instead accept your fate. The GM, though, is not obligated to give you the details of the consequences if they're not already obvious. Incredible. Gaining or losing luck. For every 8 hours rest, you may gain 2d6 luck. Luck may not exceed the starting value rolled in character creation save for exceptional circumstances or situations. Running out of the luck inflicts no special penalty. Okay. Using luck in combat. In the case of a tie, the character may test their luck to break it in their favour. Ooh, that's quite cool. When a character successfully hits an opponent but before rolling damage, they may decide to test their luck, and if successful, they may add 2 to their damage roll. Okay, there's an optional one here. Optional, luck versus death. You find that your games are too fatal, and that the turnover of characters is too much to bear. The GM might optionally allow characters who have died to test their luck, and instead of dying, be incapacitated, wounded, or saved by some bizarre twist of fate. I get the impression that TROIKA is a one-shot system than a campaign, but this would help with obviously campaign settings, just campaigns in general, right? Setting campaigns. Word me good. Stamina. Running out of stamina. So when reduced to 0 stamina, you are in danger of dying and must be healed in order to survive. If this is during an initiative round, the next time that at the end of the round token is drawn, you die. what? If this is during an initiative round, the next time the end of round token is drawn, you die. If this happens out of initiative, your friends have one opportunity to heal you, restoring you to 1 stamina, or else, in bold, you are dead. Okay. I assume it's because we're going to come to combat and what that end of round token is drawn. That's that. Are we having tokens drawn for combat? That's quite cool. Again, we didn't really do combat in our game. Healing. You regain 2d6 stamina if you sleep for 8 hours. You may also eat a provision and regain 1d6 stamina. A maximum of 3 provisions per day will provide healing benefits. There may be other forms of healing available at your GM's discretion, such as visiting bathhouses or drinking potions. You may never have more stamina than your starting total. Negative stamina. If you go below 0 stamina, you are dead. Yep, easy, classic. Death. You may immediately make a new character while the others mourn your loss and fight over your possessions. Amazing. This new character starts exactly according to the rules found at the beginning of this book. According to the rules found at the beginning of this book. I guess it started as in like started character creation rather than like they just. Yeah, I assume so. Then like it's back to level 0, or whatever levels are in here. There's not level 0s. Initiative. Okay, here we go. Assemble the stack. During combat or at other times when it is important to know who goes first, you'll need to assemble the initiative stack. To do so, get a container and a selection of coloured dice or other convenient markers, considered cards, poker chips, and so on. Assign each character 2 tokens of a single colour. Add the tokens to the stack for the enemies equivalent to their total combined initiative. So if you have 8 lizard men, initiative 2, you would add 16 tokens to the stack. Okay. Add a token of distinct colour to the stack. This token signifies the end of round. This is really cool. Oh, okay, interesting. Optional. Enemy initiative limit. It is very likely that sometimes the character's enemies will grossly outnumber them and make it very hard for them to act. The GM may optionally limit the number of enemy initiative tokens placed in the stack to double which the characters contribute. So, if a party of 5, i.e. 10 initiative tokens in total, is attacked by 50 goblins, so that would be 50 initiative tokens, the goblins will only contribute 20 tokens to the stack. Bear in mind, though, that the GM should feel free to balance initiative stacks as seems appropriate. This sounds like a really cool way of doing combat if it was in person. I cannot imagine doing it online. I mean, there must be some like VTT app or something that you could do that with. Like, you can do it with cards per se? I don't know. I love this idea though. I think it's great. I wonder if there is an app for something like this. Ooh. Using the stack, the GM will remove a token from the stack at random. Also, the GM does it. Excellent. Sorry, I just assumed that everyone would take a token out. I guess if you use the design, I guess you could use cards in that respect then. So like, mine's always 8s, yours is always 6s, etc. Because then, yeah, I guess. Anyway, using the stack, the GM will remove a token from the stack at random, the colour or design of which will determine who holds initiative and takes a turn. Consider giving a copy of their token to each player so that everyone remembers which colour or design is theirs. Yeah, that would make sense. Like, you would actually look at what you have going on. If the end of the round token is drawn, all tokens, including the end of round tokens, are put back in the stack. Remove tokens contributed by dead characters and enemies. Resolve any per round or end of round activities such as magic effects, drowning, fire, poison, or bleeding, and then draw another token to carry on. So that could be really tough. Like, you could have like maybe a go, loads of enemies go, and then you draw an end of round token. I assume you would draw it without looking at the bag. You wouldn't be like, oh, I'm going to take this now. I assume that is what it is. Henchmen. Hired help that are willing to engage in combat each provide 1 initiative token to the stack. Henchmen share a single colour token, and when a henchman token is drawn, the GM determines who acts and what they do. The GM should take the wishes of the players under advisement, but act in the best interest of the henchman. Enemies. All enemies contribute a variety of number of different initiative tokens to the initiative stack according to their combined initiative and share the same colour or design. This feels very Unfinity, by the way. The Unfinity Magic the Gathering sort of idea that you anything would be like, all right, all these, I don't know, red things. So it could be red dice, it could be like a little tiddlywink, it could be it's a piece of paper. You know, that's the thing. Maybe a piece of paper would actually work better, like a post-it notes that I said say people's names on them, perhaps, with the colour. Color design. When drawing an enemy initiative token, the GM can declare that any enemy is acting, including an enemy that has previously acted this round. Obviously, this can be abused for a mechanical game on the GM's part, though that would be entirely up to the detriment of the game and is discouraged. Apply initiative tokens as they make sense. Rationale. The random turn length adds a degree of uncertainty where you never know how much time you have left. When actions are not taking place, it represents hesitation, panic, or other incidental delays that can happen in a tense encounter where every second counts. The goblins have few tokens because they are cowardly, not because they are slow. The dragon may have many because it knows exactly what it wants, not because it's fast. That's a really cool way of looking at it, actually. It's more about their personality rather than their speed to get things done. Because as we all know, speed isn't everything. Alright, actions. When you hold the initiative... Oh, sorry, I don't know if you heard that. My shoulder completely cracked then. I don't know if that came across on stream. Oh. When you hold the initiative, you may take a turn and can generally perform one action. The following list is not exhaustive, and the GM is encouraged to interpret players' intentions as best they can. Okay, so the kind of actions we can do in combat, we've got hit someone, shoot someone, cast a spell, delay, move, retrieve an item, use an item, grapple, and then it goes on to... So they've got 8 different ones it's going to describe here, so let's have a quick nosy at all of them. To hit someone, so first one, we could hit someone. To stab, bludgeon, or otherwise physically interfere with someone, roll 2d6 plus skill, plus advanced skill, versus an opponent doing the same thing. So it's in the versus roll. Okay, so that's 2d6 plus the skill that you rolled at the beginning. So if Bob was doing his, his Rhino Man, it was 4, right? So 2d6, I'll roll now. That's 10 in total. 10 plus 4, 14. Oh, it's got to be under, right? Oh, it's versus. The versus is higher, so 14, and then some advanced skills. Say it's got like, I don't know, sword swallowing. No, just sword fighting 2. So on total that would be 16. Versus the opponent doing the same thing. The winner rolls for damage. The loser deducts the number generated by the damage roll from their stamina. Note that either party in exchange can potentially win. In a tie, both parties have avoided hurting each other. Note that this means you can potentially hit an unlimited number of people in a round, but may only initiate once per round. What? How does that make sense? I guess it depends on the weapon, right? Interesting. So instead of hitting someone, we could shoot someone. So shooting an opponent is resolved by rolling versus their skill, or appropriate evasive advanced skill such as shield or dodge. Shooting into, and it splits up into 2. We've got aim and shooting into melee. So shooting into melee. When shooting into melee on a successful hit, assign a number to every individual involved. Oh. Assign a number to every individual involved and roll a die. If the number comes up, they receive the damage. Oh, very cool. So that's almost shooting into a group per se. That's pretty cool. I like that. Aim. On your turn, you might decide to take aim with your rage weapon. To do so, hold on to your initiative token. When your next initiative token is drawn, you may roll twice and pick the best roll. If the end of the token comes up and you haven't used your aim token, you may decide to hold on to it for the next round. That's interesting. I like that mechanic. That's pretty cool. Alright, third thing we can do is cast a spell. Each spell has its own instructions on how it should be used, but in general, you will need to spend a certain amount of stamina and roll under or versus for spells that require you to touch an unwilling party, for example. Okay, so these are either roll under or roll versus, compared to the last two, which were always roll versus. In order to create some kind of effect. Unless the spell says otherwise, it requires at least one free hand and the ability to speak. Roll on the oops table if the result is a fumble. So a fumble, if we remember, is a rolling 2 6s. So that's where that oops table comes in. We'll have a look at that in a second. Delay. So the other thing we can do is delay. You may choose not to act when you hold your initiative. In that case, put your token back in the stack. Ooh, that's a cool move. So you don't lose it, per se. I mean, obviously, you lose it if the end of round token comes up, but... Very cool. The fifth thing we can do is move. Every action is assumed to have a bit of movement involved. Anything that's less than 12 feet is folded into whatever else you might be doing. If you wish to chase someone or perform some other action involved locomotion, then just spend a turn doing it. Okay, cool. Retrieve an item. If you need to get something out that you weren't already holding in your hands, roll 2d6, score equal to or higher its position on your inventory list. Oh, that's really cool. Oh, so like physically where it is. That's quite cool. If you succeed, you can pull it out and do as intended. Otherwise, you spend your entire action finding it. Double ones always indicates failure. Oh, very cool. Retrieving an arrow counts as an item retrieval. Make sure they're packed on top. See sections 10.3 and 10.41 for more on inventories. Now this is where I'm like, ooh, this makes inventory interesting. It's almost like preparing spells, like maybe you sort out your pack for the day. Going, yes, the items I need near the top, I gotta, those are the ones I need like quick to hands, and that's the ones I'm gonna easily roll over, hopefully. Although a double ones is a failure. Whoa. Use an item. If an item is in your hands, you may use it however you like. Okay. Alright, I guess if you've already got it in your hand, yeah, that makes sense. Use item. Grapple. Roll versus your opponent's wrestling skill. If you win, you may either knock them to the ground or deal damage as unarmed, and knock you both to the ground from throwing or tackling them. On a mighty blow, see 7.4, you render them unconscious for 1d6 rounds. If you fail to grapple them, they may deal damage to you as though they have attacked you normally, whereas you fumble, they deal you a mighty blow. Right, okay. I'm just going to read that again because my brain just conked out there at the end. So, if you win, you may either knock them to the ground or deal damage as an unarmed and knock you both to the ground. On a mighty blow, I assume that's like a double one. Right, it doesn't say there just now, but we'll find it out in a second. In section 7.4, you render them unconscious for 1d6 rounds. If you fail to grapple them, then they may deal damage to you, because there's a versus one. Whereas if you fumble, which is 6/6, they will deal you a mighty blow. Right. Other concerns. Here we go. Cover. When attacking someone in cover, they receive a bonus to their roll not to be hit. Consider a waist-height bush to be +1, whilst a castle's crenulations would be a 6+. Oof. Enemies. Mechanically speaking, an opponent is typically reduced to 3 numbers: skills, stamina, and initiative. Beyond this, they may have an advanced skill or 2, or some peculiar rules. So it's really minimal on I guess running these enemies and stuff, which is probably quite useful. I know there's a section later which is going to talk about. I can see shields down there, but I know there's a section on armor later. So, hitting someone unawares. If your opponent is not aware of your presence, your attack is a roll under rather than roll versus. So sort of sneak attack. They may not attack back, and you may add 2 to your damage roll. Mighty blows. Oh wait, if you roll mighty blows, if you roll double 6 if you roll a double 6 whilst attacking, you strike a mighty blow and win the exchange, and inflict double damage. I guess it's versus, right? Okay, so I made a mistake earlier. So if you roll double 6 whilst attacking, in combat it's good, out of combat it's bad. You strike a mighty blow, win the exchange, and inflict a double damage. If both parties strike a mighty blow, A spectacular clinch is formed, shattering both weapons. In the case of beastly claws, tentacles, and so on, they will lose 1d6 stamina instead. Ooh, that's cool. And then fumbles, so this is going to be the opposite. So a roll of double ones in combat results in the loser losing the exchange and their opponent adding a +1 to their damage roll. If both parties fumble, they deal damage to each other, adding +1 to their damage roll. Shields. Shields reduce damage rolls by 1 to a minimum of 1. Use of multiple weapons. When rolling damage, you may choose which weapons to reference the damage rolls against after rolling. You must hold it in your hands or be near approximations, obviously. Falling over. When on the floor, you suffer a -2 to all physical rolls against those standing, including damage rolls, and must spend a turn to get to your feet. When falling too far, when engaged in an uncontrollable falls, you lose 1d6 stamina per 6 feet fallen when you land. Okay. Drowning. Drowning. When you fail a swimming test, you begin to drown and lose a d6 stamina. For each consecutive swimming test where you make no progress, you roll an additional d6. So, for instance, if your third failed swimming roll in a row would lose you 3d6 stamina. Oh, so it's like you accumulate. Damn, that's pretty brutal. Once you've lost, consecutive. Oh, so if you succeeded and then failed again, it would be back to 1d6, I guess. Once you lose all stamina, you have drowned. Fire, poison, and bleeding. Any ongoing debilitating effects should be treated similarly to drowning. Unless you have a specific effect in mind, have the victim lose 1d6 per turn, with it optionally becoming more severe unless they either pass a related advanced skill test or successfully test their luck or skill for enemies. Improvisation is strongly encouraged. I keep forgetting about that test for luck one. It's quite useful. Degenerative effects in combat. Test for drowning, fire, etc. Test for drowning, fire only when the end of round token is drawn. Okay, so if it is in combat, okay, so then that's when we test it for. You wouldn't just test it when they on their turn. Okay. Henchmen. Henchmen are created as you would a monster with truncated abilities only covering their essence. They are their own people with their own motivations and not just pieces of equipment. It is up to the GM and the players to flesh them out, or not, as the case may be. Okay, why have we said them twice, though? What we said them before? Hired help. I guess, yeah, slightly different, I guess, different concerns. I don't know why we talked about them twice there, and it's not really helpful on this other concerns one. Time. There are two main units of time in the game, turns and rounds. Turn is what someone does when they hold initiative and it's a few seconds long. A round is the period between drawing successive end of round tokens and roughly equal to 1 minute. Yeah. I like this combat system. It feels very board game like, you know? It feels very it's Savage Worlds. Savage Worlds is stuff similar where you never know where you're going to go on the turn, and it just feels really random and chaotic, and that's what fighting is. It's not this sort of, oh, it's me, and then it's you, and then it's me, and then I've got a spell, oh, hold your action, etc. I like this. There's a little bit of crunch to it, I'd say, but I guess once you've got it, it'll be pretty good. I really wish I had like a proper big flask of tea I could drink. I always drink my tea too quickly. Damage. So when you win a versus roll, an opponent when you win a roll versus an opponent in combat, you inflict damage. After you successfully hitting someone, roll d6 and then consult the damage charts in the front side of cover. Reference your damage roll across the row and the weapon down side. The result is the damage inflicted and reduces your opponent's stamina. So let's have a look at that then. So we're on page 55, but let's go to the top here. So, okay, so say what was it? I had a spell for my paper witch, so it wouldn't help. Let's say I used what's the difference between those ones? That's interesting. I guess there may be oh, here we go. Indicates a weapon that has requires at least 2 hands. to use, and it indicates a weapon that ignores 1 point of armor. Oh, that's quite interesting. And then, some random spells. Oh, I guess, yeah, you can use the random spells to add that to your list, I guess. That's pretty cool. All right, well, say we had a knife, and I rolled over. What did I roll? I rolled 6. Oh, it was 1d6, right? Say I rolled a 2, so I'd only do 2 damage. Obviously, the higher up you go, the more damage you do. I think that's right. What did it say in the thing? Oh, I gone too quick. I've done. Oh, there's loads of stuff there. Oh no, sorry. Guessing better encumbrance there. Damage. There we go. Someone roll a d6. So it's only 1d6, and then consult damage charts. Okay, good to know. Double damage. When striking a mighty blow, you double the damage of stamina lost as a result of a damaging roll. Yep. Damage modifiers. All modifiers that add bonuses to damage will unless otherwise specified, modify the roll of the dice, but not the actual dice damage inflicted. So, for example, I have a +1 to my damage roll and roll a 5 on the sword entry. Due to my bonus, I am counted now as rolled a 6 and inflict 8 damage instead of 6. That's what I was getting confused about before. So yeah, so only a d6 for checking out what damage you are. That's quite cool as well. Again, random, making it really, I guess. I'd love to play definitely another one-shot of this with combat and try and get those rules right. I think that's just really interesting. But again, I don't know if I would enjoy playing a full campaign of it. But again, that's just how I feel. Unusual weapons. It is entirely acceptable to use existing weapons to provide the damage matrix of roughly equivalent exotic weapons, such as counting a rapier as a sword for damage purposes. This does not preclude the possibility of making specific matrices for your own inventions. Sure. Yeah, I guess it's just reskinning, right? Oh, you've got a snake. It has the same damage as, I don't know. I don't know if I saw a rope, but maybe like a net or something like that. Just use one of those ones. It's just easier. Armor. Armor offers a certain degree of protection for your soft and supple body. There are 4 levels of protection, vaguely defined, to allow you to assign whatever assortment of pots and pans you might be wearing to an appropriate level without too much bother. A target is considered to be unarmoured, lightly armoured, modestly armoured, or heavily armoured. Each modifies damage rolls by 0, -1, -2, -3, respectively, to a minimum of 1. Ah, so there you go. So you can't just be armoured up and then do lots of damage. It sort of restricts how damaging your things are. That's quite good. I should have brought my water bottle. Not water bottle. I should have brought my water in, but I did not. Armor encumbrance. Armor takes up a number of item slots equal to twice its protective value. So heavy armor would use up 6 slots, for example. And when this game is using, like, you know, where like you roll for it to bring them out and stuff, that's actually kind of important. So interesting. How are we doing on time? Oh yeah, we've done an hour already, so that's good. And I feel like we've gone through most of the main rules, which is also very good as well. Encumbrance. You may carry 12 things without issue. On your character sheet, you will have 12 spaces to write in things that you're lugging around with you. Small items. Some items are of inconsequential individual rate, like arrows, and will only ever take up 1 slot unless you have an awful lot of them. What constitutes as a lot is up to your group to decide. Great, fantastic. Large items are anything you need both hands to hold. They take up 2 slots in your inventory. We recommend writing them at a jaunty angle to fill up the space. Armor has its own rules, so it's doing like a bit like Alien does this as well, which I didn't like at the time, but I kind of like this extra rule that you have to roll for it to get it. I'm guessing a larger item, if you have it in 2 slots, if you rolled for it's over that slot, I'm guessing you'd have to say if you were taking up 4 and 5, would you have to roll 4 and over is fine? What is it that said? Hang on. Sorry, this is because I want to know. A retrieve item there. 2d6 score equal to or higher. Okay, so yes, so if it was on a 4 or a 5, then you score. If you only just rolled 4, you can still bring it out. If it was in those slots, cool. Tight. Retrieving items in a hurry. See section 6.6. Note that having things near the top of your inventory is advantageous, so put things you rarely need in a hurry, like armor, money, near the bottom. Pack your bags well. Overburdened. If you find yourselves carrying more than 12 items, you suffer a -4 to all rolls due to the inconvenient weight. If you're carrying 18 items or more, you suffer -4 to all rolls, you can hardly move, and you count as unawares for anyone wanting to stab you. Ooh. Dropping things in a hurry. If you want to unburden yourself quickly, roll a d6. The result is how many slots you may carefully put down this turn. At the GM's discretion, you may roll 2d6 if you don't mind them getting broken or lost. Alright. Finally, we're getting advancement, getting better. Life is learning, and you can't experience it all without growing in some way. Your characters will bend and change in response to their environment. When you successfully use a skill, you stand to learn from it. Put a tick next to it on your character sheet. Look, skill, and stamina never change. Oh, so it's a bit like, I always bring up Call of Cthulhu, but it's like Call of Cthulhu where you're like, oh, I've succeeded in using that check. How to advance. Next time you have a chance to rest and reflect on your journey, you may check to see what you've learnt. If you roll 2d6 over your current skill total, you may increase it by 1. You may test a maximum of 3 skills in one rest, regardless of success or failure. If you finish rolling, remove all ticks from your sheet. Cool. So obviously, the better you are at something already, the harder it is to improve. Plus 12 advanced skill. When an advanced skill has reached 12, you need to roll a 12 followed by another 12 to improve it. There is no upper limit to an advanced skill. Well, that is never going to happen. That is never going to happen. That's ridiculous. Oh, wow. Training and learning new advanced skills. It's also possible to improve your advanced skills or learn new ones, though you must find someone who is willing to teach you. They must have a higher skill plus an advanced skill than you, and most likely require payment unless they are your fellow party member or already owe you a favour. Training takes 1 week plus a week per rank. If per rank you already have in the advanced skill you're looking to improve. Yes. At the end of this time, you get 1 chance at advancement. Failure means you have to train harder. Whilst learning a new advanced skills, you must roll under your skill on 2d6. Precocious students are easier to teach to gain your first point. Under your skill. Okay, so the skill is something you got at the beginning. Okay. Again, I don't know how often you're going to advance in what feels like a one-shot system, but good to know. Again, you've got rules for everything. And then we've got an interesting plate, faceplate on this. All right. Some sort of timepiece and then some sort of star gun, I want to say. Advanced skill descriptions. We'll look at these briefly. I don't want to go into too much detail because that's when we lose people and go straight to sleep. So, advanced skill descriptions. In most cases, the use of a skill would be a straight roll under skill total, also skill plus advanced skill. Situations where this isn't the case should be obvious. The available lists are not limited to those who are. The available skills are not limited to those listed here. There should be rarer fare available for those who search for it, or maybe a character just feels driven to learn the intricacies of farming or opera for some particular reason. You may notice some skills and backgrounds sections that don't have entries. Just make those up. Since players don't ever want to have waste time picking through the whole section, don't be afraid of expanding the list and making them more specific. So here we've got, acrobatics, astrology, awareness, climbing, crafting skills, disguise, etiquette. Ooh, love that. Evaluate. Test this to get an idea of how much something is worth. Fly. Golden barge pilot. So, yes, a pilot for those things that aren't like basically starships. Healing, languages, locks. Oh, so that's locking locks. Mathemology. Use this to gain insight into angles, pressures, numbers, and other such arcane arts. Cool. Poison, ride, run, second sight, secret signs, sleight of hand, sneak, strength, swim, tracking, trapping, tunnel fighting. Ooh. Weapon fighting other. Fantastic. Items. If an item is not listed here, I assume it adds a bonus of +1 to rolls associated with it. Okay. Item bonuses only apply if you're trained in the skill they are meant to enhance. An incomplete list of desirous things. Alright, so it's an example of some items. Again, we won't go through them all, but it's just good to know. A blue star map of Corda holds the secrets of travel between the spheres. Every juncture in space and time can be found on its many squared meter faces if one is sufficiently educated in its use. Plasmic cores are crystallized stars, starlight cast in metal. Or astral vapors captured in the glass. Or maybe hard ghosts. Whatever it is, it's pretty and it's used as a fuel source for exotic weapons and reckless magicians. Cool. Ruby log nets are collapsible spectacles made with ruby lenses that require freehand to use. When wearing them, your sight is impaired, but you can see sorceress activity very clearly. Oh, very cool. Cool. Alright, so let's have a quick look at spells then. To cast a spell, you must spend stamina equal to the casting cost, the number in brackets. So that parchment witch before, it was like 2 something. 2 spell something, so that's what it would be. I guess, actually. I'll double check in a second. Or maybe that's what you add to your roll. That's what you add to the roll, but I guess it's this. So you must add you must spend stamina equal to the casting cost, the number in brackets, and roll under your skill total in the spell you wish to cast. Oh gosh, yeah. A double 1 will always exceed, whilst a double 6 will always fail and require an on the oops table. Okay. Yes. Is that... wait, hang on. No, yes, that's right. Sorry, my brain is going, because I'm flicking back and forth now. If I could have sworn that double 6s was a failure somewhere, I think that is outside of... like, that's just like action rolls. That is just like, roll equal to or under. Yeah. But then in versus, it's whoever gets the highest. And then so doubles in versus is like a critical success. Mighty blows, right? So some examples here. We've got affix, amity, animate, assassin's dagger, assume shape, astral reach, babble, banish spirit, befuddle, blood shroud. Oh, 4 points to spend on from your stamina for blood shroud. Oh, so it says here, smear a small amount of demon's blood on yourself to become completely invisible to them, even if you attack or speak to them for 6 hours. Ooh, okay. Ah, so that was one. Callous Strike. I had that in the Parchment Witch. The Wizard Knights are the most famous for their remote combat, where they swing their silver swords seemingly at nothing, only for their opponents many feet away to be torn to tatters. This spell can be used in place of a melee attack by rolling verses as normal, and inflicting damage according to the weapon used. It may be only used once against targets within clear sight. Okay. Cockroach. Oh, wow. A popular spell that turns troublesome folk into humiliated animals. The target must test their luck, or skill for enemy, or be turned into an insignificant creature of the wizard's choice. Lasts forever. Very cool. See, there's lots of spells, lots of different spells. Again, I'm not going to go through all of them. I just wanted to have a quick look. Fear. In the eyes of one poor target, the wizard grows into a primal animal from the depths of their lizard brain. They will attempt to flee, and if flight is impossible, they will curl up into a ball and whimper. They may test their luck or skill for enemy to resist the illusion. Very good. Yeah, there's loads of stuff here. So you are sort of rewarded for spells, I guess. It's quite good. Whoa, look at that image. Holy shit. Oh, holy shit as well. Well, that's... I mean, who knows? Who knows what those things were? I didn't see them. Did you see them? Oh, there's some more here. Read entrails. Slide, starry orb. Teleport. Yeah. Oh, loads. Undo. Double the cost of the original spell. The wizard untangles a spell from this instance of reality. To do so, they must roll versus the original casting if disentanglement is possible at all. Ooh, interesting. Oh, look at this one at the end. Z, question mark. No one knows what this does, but everyone who has cast it disappears instantly, never to be seen again. Very cool. Love that. That sounds cool. Alright, it's now going on to enemies. Enemies that characters will encounter are not like them. They are simpler machines that produce similar results. Enemy skill is not like character skill. Enemy skill covers everything they lack, including advanced skills and luck. They have the same number to climb a rope as to hit or to cast a spell. Alright, great. That makes it much simpler. Equally, enemy spells do not cost stamina. Ooh. No spell slots for those folks. Enemies do not spend luck. They don't have a luck score and instead roll versus their skill, which never diminishes. They also may not test their luck to gain advantage for themselves in combat, such as testing luck to increase damage. Why the stamina disparity? The stamina of enemies tends to be towards lower numbers than the characters. This is to speed battles along and to make it somewhat fairer on characters who must spend stamina for their magic. Note that the combat rules and damage have been balanced in such a way that a goblin is a threat no matter how much stamina it has. Initiative is different for enemies. Whilst all the characters contribute 2 initiative tokens for each, enemies have their own specific totals. They are all the same colour and are added to the initiative stack and drawn similarly to the character's initiative tokens. When an enemy token is drawn, the GM may use it to activate and take a turn with any enemy present. There is no limit to the number of times a single enemy may act in a round. Indeed, you can have one enemy perform all the actions drawn. This does not represent speed, more it's as this does not represent speed so much as it represents commitment to action, whilst others stall or perform minor actions or minor tasks. For example, a lizard man and a goblin are fighting the characters, both of which are contributing to the initiative stack. When the enemy initiative token is drawn, the GM may declare that either one of them is acting. Yeah. Ooh, sorry, I jumped ahead. Armor is the same. Rather than having variety types of armor, enemies just have a number. Great. This is treated exactly as the same as the numbers associated with the character armor and represents physical protection, speed, incorporeal reality? No. Yes, that's mine. If you have a plan for the enemy's attitude, then go with it. Otherwise, roll to see how they appear when meeting the group. Use this as an inspiration when playing them and help avoid falling into routine I almost said hostility. Routine hospitality. Now that is a beautiful image. Again, why is that not on the cover? Much better, much more interesting. It's like some sort of many-hat horrible witch with way too many legs grabbing something out of their potato bag, as I would call it, the magic potato bag. It's like a trash witch from Labyrinth. And then we're going to go on to the bestiality. Again, a bestiality. Beastery. Wow, my words have completely failed me today. So we won't look at them in too much detail, but we can see here is that we've got this table at the top called Mayen, which is basically you would roll a d6 and that's how their personality is. It sort of gives them a motive when they are confronted, so they're not, like as it just said, they're not constantly being aggressive. There we can see their skill, stamina, initiative, armor, and damage as a large beast. So I'm just looking at this first one. So yeah, so they don't have any specifics, additional skills compared to advanced skills. That's what it's called compared to players. So that's pretty cool. Again, that's quite an easy way to homebrew stuff as well, I guess. That's quite good. Let's skip through a few of these because we don't need to read them all. You get Cyclops. A Drock. Oh, these are dwarves. Okay. Dragon. Oh, dragon's got 32 stamina. They add 8 to the initiative stack. Damn. As in the personality table, number 2 is playful in quotation marks. You see, and then dragons. See, some of them do have these specials where they have a special kind of thing. So obviously for dragon, they have once per round they may douse a 24-foot area in beautiful dragon fire. Everyone in the area is automatically hit, but may test their luck to reduce the damage roll by 1. So, the damage, if you get a 7+ on the damage roll, that's pretty brutal. 36 damage. Ah, that's the image we saw before. How beautiful is that? Again, would have a postcard with that one. Keep on going. Living dead. Loathsome worm that will consume the sun. Man beast, manticore. Oh, there's the parchment wisp. Oh, you can have the parchment wisp as an enemy as well. Fantastic. Very cool. Parchment witches have 5 spells rolled randomly or chosen ahead of time. Oh, that's quite good. Again, it feels incredibly... Oh, night pig. It feels very easy to like just set up and roll with them. Like, they're not too complicated as creatures. So yeah, I'm just trying to remember the mechanic now. So if it's just using a skill for players, it's 2d6 and rolling under. And then a versus another character, it's using whatever their skills are and rolling the best. Those are the 2 ones there. And it is 2d6 plus skill plus advanced skill. I think. I now have to go double check. Oh man, I'm so bad at this. Sorry. I just want to check it. I just want to make sure I get it right. No. There you go. Rolling under is always yes. Yep. I don't need that. I want to tell me the thing. Say. Any bonuses? Under a number. I guess then you won't use your skill or anything like that. You just want to... Okay, maybe. So versus is 2d6 plus skill plus advanced skill. Okay. It's tricky. I kind of wish there was just a little bit at the beginning that just said, here is the rule. Here's the main 2 mechanics that you need. Because they're both different. That's the only thing. Anyway. As we were. Oh, there's the zoanthrope. You could also play as a beast. Excellent. And then here's the introductory adventure. So I'm just going to read it aloud, the introduction bit. So it says, the Blancmange and Thistle is an extravagant hotel cast in gold and chrome. Chandeliers, ironwork, thick, colourful, mismatched carpets, paintings of every style, taste and era. Guests in nooks buried deep within chairs seemingly built for them. Mandrills everywhere, the smell of brass polish and artificial cherry in the air. The characters arrive looking for a suitably glamorous accommodation for their first few days in the city of TROIKA. Ah, roll credits, there we go. The concierge informs the party that they are hosting the annual feast of the Chili Arch on the roof, and as a result there is unfortunately, you know what, I realise now, there we go, zoomed in a little bit. There is only one room on the 6th floor left, and that they simply must attend the party, and that there will be a positive delight, and it will be a positive delight to have you. In a fit of politeness, you all agree to share the remaining room. Take a moment to allow the characters to consider their bedmates and deliver their salutations. The concierge will give one character a small silver room key on a chain, too small for any neck and too large for any wrist. Have a player mark this in their inventory. Cool. According to the illuminated glass map of the hotel standing prominently in the foyer, you have 2 choices in your ascent, being the lift or the stairs. Canny players may consider descending through the roof, but anyone caught climbing the facade or rudely flying directly into the party will be rebuffed for 2d6 by 2d6 mandrill guards that nest in the crevices. Okay. All right. Well, we won't go into too much thing, but there you go. So that's like good introduction. I like that. There's some questions here. Sorry, I got distracted by reading. How can I insert this adventure into my game? It can be placed anywhere. This hotel can be placed anywhere, but it is best suited in a metropolitan areas prone to bouts of exoticism. If you have no existing game to put it in, you should start right here with the character arriving at the front desk forced together by happenstance. This place is dangerous. What if somebody dies? Have them create a new character, introduce them at the next floor. Hello, new friend. I don't know what's going on. None of us do. Write it out and see what happens. You can apply meaning and history to everything in your next session in light of the events of the first. Encourage the players to connect the dots for you. The most important question there, where's the bar? Through a door to the side of the front desk labelled with a colour-shifting neon garlic bulb. Stairs lead to a basement where you may buy a dizzying variety of exotic pickled vegetables. The only alcohol they sell is a clear herbal liqueur served in a snifter glasses. The barman is ancient and deaf, but the selection is so limited he can usually guess right. The music sounds like several lions roaring at the bottom of a well while someone plays the tuba energetically. Is there only one way to play the tuba, and that is energetically. The few guests here are gathering up their fireworks and preparing to leave for whichever festival of Chilean they are attending. And there you go, it goes into extra things there. So that's quite cool. And I can already see there's like sweet old lady. That's clearly going to be some sort of enemy later. Oh, excellent. I'll just have a quick look through to see if there's anything else. Because we did see a little map earlier. All the way up to floor 6. Oh, floor 6 is your destination. And different ways to transport another table. Calls to adventure for both Harkin and proffered at the feast fair. So I guess if it's an introductory adventurer, if it's just an introductory adventure, you can use these as like extra hooks to go in. I can see that it's a little bit different to normal. So here you've got 3d6. Interesting. Okay, so rather just rolling a d6, here you've got, to get these adventure hooks, it's d3 times 10 plus a d6. Plus a d6, yeah. So if I roll... So 3, I rolled a 3 on a d6, so that is halved, rounded up is 2. So that's 20, and then another d6 is 1, so 21. Rather than a 31 if I just rolled it straight. Cockle's Butchers of Distinction is looking for delivery people. Discretion is required. Military background preferred. Oh, nice. Okay, so some really cool... Whoa. Some really cool story hooks there then. That's quite interesting. Again, I won't go into too much detail. And, oh, that's really cool. So what they've done on this page, they've got the enemies or the other creatures that the GM will be playing and listed them out by floor. Because obviously they're going up a hotel thing. So that's really good. And this made it really simple into, I presume, one page. Yeah, one page. That's excellent. And then here's the image that I saw earlier, which is beautiful. See, again, would have this on a poster. Would have this on a postcard. Oh, brilliant. Oh, and then there's the character sheet. Let's look at this whoops table. See, I can see on the whoops table you rolled a d6 times 10 plus 6. But that... Why wouldn't you roll just... Oh, no. Oh, yeah. Why wouldn't you just roll a 6-6, then? Why would you need to roll... So it's 2... So I rolled a 2, that's 20. And then... 6 was 20... Yeah. Okay. So anyway, I rolled a 26. And that's what I'd get on this. Ooh... the whoops table, if I rolled a 26 after fumbling a spell, all the wizard's body hair falls out with an audible fluff. The wizard's old face melts off, revealing a handsome new one. Oh wow! What's the 6-6 one? If you rolled a 6-6, the spell being cast won't stop. It goes completely haywire, out of control, firing off madly until the wizard is subdued. Very cool. I think. Oh yeah, spellcasters in this will have a lot of fun. Again, it feels very much like Dungeon Crawl Classics on that front. And then I think it's just, yeah. And there's the final bit at the end where it says TROIKA is a complete science fantasy RPG filled with critically acclaimed writing, built-in wonder, and room for everyone at the table to go wild. Very good. Well, that's it, everyone. We've gone through it all. Again, I appreciate we've not gone through every single little bit and piece, because obviously there's, you know, there's 36 character classes, all that sort of thing. But it's very... The inspiration is there. I guess I need to have another look through those dice mechanics, I think, just to really get my head around things. But ultimately, it is just using d6s. That's quite fun. The tables are quite fun. Again, it feels that, I guess it is that OSR inspired stuff from that. Yeah, I guess even though I said it at the beginning, I kind of wish there was a little bit of like bit more of the setting, which I know sounds bonkers, because it is basically you're going through these spheres and these different planets, so it you know, and it has this almost like I don't want to say Doctor Who, that's not the word I'm thinking of, but this sort of like Return to the Forbidden Planet type aesthetic perhaps, and you could just create your own sort of stories there and just be farcical and be fantastical, all that sort of thing. I'm just trying to think of any films that this would remind me of. I can't really think of anything that comes to mind. That would be quite nice. I guess if there was like an inspiration, like we had it in a couple of the other RPGs we looked at, just having a list of inspirational films or works would be quite interesting to get your head around it, because I think not everyone has really, like I said, I got a really different impression of this particular game, and then I played it, and it was completely misunderstood what it was, and I just really enjoyed it. So I guess this game, again, don't wish to be like, oh, you can't play this, or, you know, if you've not done 2 years of RPG. I can imagine it being maybe more enjoyable if you've got another RPG or 2 experience under your belt, just to experience with that. But then again, what do I know? Absolutely nothing. Well, thank you everyone for staying with me. It's a short one today. I didn't think I'd get it through in just an hour and a half, so that's pretty good timing for me. If you are interested in finding out more about TROIKA, I'll put it again in the chat. So you can get your own copy of TROIKA through the Mellison Arts Council. I do not know if I'm pronouncing that right. We can actually have a look. Why don't we have a look at the other books you can get on that, because I think that's also quite useful to have. So if I go to TROIKA here, you can see some of the... Oh, it's loading. Ah, there we go. You can see... how can I make it this a little bit easier for myself? Moving all the boxes. There you go. So yeah, you can see there's a whole load of... Like, there's a starter bundle set, there's an adventure bundle set. I assume Zines are being created of this thing. Excuse me. So I bet there is actually quite a lot of adventures and quick starts that you could easily pick up and just go, oh, that's really interesting, and run from there. The one I definitely do know is this Acid Death Fantasy one. That is like a full-on setting, which is quite exciting. But yeah, some of these other ones, like I'm looking at this one, the Ruinous Palace of Metagorgos. Like, I love that image. I'm going to pop it back here. How great is that image? That sort of lino art. I think that's what it's called, right? I don't know if that's the right one. The big squirm. This other image here. Oh, terrifying. Oh, I'm going to read out what it says. I'm going to move it over so everyone can see it. So the Big Squirm is a hard-boiled detective RPG adventure for TROIKA. Players take on the roles of investigators working for one of several factions embroiled in the mystery of the Scarfworms. Players will search, steal, and trade for clues, exploring a wealthy neighbourhood in the city of TROIKA. What they'll uncover will have massive implications for your ongoing campaign and provide a huge amount of gameable material to take your games even further. The clear goals and open-ended creativity of the Big Squirm is also perfect for a way to introduce your players to the world of TROIKA. And TROIKA is a great introduction to the world of role-playing. Well, there you go. What do I know? What I know. That is also by Luke Gearing, I can see there. Oh, that sounds really cool. I like the sound of that one, so that's the Big Squirm. You can also get there. Let's have a look. What does it say about Acid Death Fantasy? Because that's the other one I have. This is the second book published for TROIKA. It's a complete setting with a distinctive apocalyptic flavour by award-winning industry veteran Luke Gearing. A new tone, a new style, a new book to totally upend your TROIKA game. 56 pages, 36 backgrounds, 36 enemies, and a framework to hang them all off. So again, that's quite a nice small book, really. Very cool. So yeah, I guess it does. Like, yeah, it feels very Dune-like from that book, but also I guess maybe just because we've talked about it recently, Dark Sun as well. But yeah, I won't. Otherwise, I'll just, you know what? I'll go look at this one other. Oh, my computer catches up. Oh, there we go. Catches up. Sorry, my computer is quite old, so sometimes it's like it does buff a little bit, and I'm like, oh no, don't buff. But what did this one say before I end the stream? Oh, interesting. So the Ruinous Palace one says a weird sack RPG adventure for TROIKA and B/X. The snakes in her hair lie languid in sleep. She needs their warmth for her children, you see. Swollen, ever pregnant with memory, the Metigorgus. Gorgus. Yeah, Gorgos, yeah. Waddles about the dark, wet ruinous of her ancient home. Long forgotten, she has not been allowed to forget. Again and again she births wretched reminders of her tragic past. Untold ages has the cursed queen suffered for the most cardinal sins. She dared to make herself powerful and better the world around her. Such slights the awful gods do not forgive. Still, above all else, she is a mother. Yet does the Metigorgus love her torturous children. Yet does the Metigorgus love her torturous children, and so too do they love her, and thus they are doubly dangerous. Wow. Oh, wow, that looks amazing. I love the sound of that one. Let's see the images of that one. Very cool. Already beautiful. But all right. Enough looking and checking things out. I'm going to finish the stream there. Thank you again so much for checking this out with me. Hopefully you enjoyed it as well. Like, again, I've got some ideas now about how I'd use it. I just need to get my head around that main mechanic a little bit. But as it was saying, it clearly is one for introduction to roleplay as well. I don't know, I feel would feel a little bit confident. Sorry, I jumped then because I thought there was a spider on my shorts, and it turns out it was just a bit of black cotton. Oh, I jumped so hard then. Sorry about that. What was I saying? So yeah, I think, yeah, I just would want to nail down that mechanic a little bit, maybe having some reference sheets for it. But clearly there's a lot of events out there, which I guess would help you a little bit. It feels like something that Ruinous Palace one felt very Morkborg-like. So all these things connect to each other, which is really cool. And I know there are many hacks of TROIKA as well, or third-party content, as it said, so go ahead and check those out as well. So, if you have enjoyed this stream, thank you so much. Please check out, if I type in the command, check out What Am I Rolling, which is a twice-monthly RPG one-shot podcast where we look at all these different systems and try and run actual plays of them as well. Do they succeed as good demonstrators of actual plays? I hope so. What I like doing is basically giving an example of what these RPGs can be, and like people getting excited about them, go, I want to play that game, because not one RPG is meant for everyone. And I think sometimes we get a little bit concerned that, oh well, I don't like, say, the big high fantasy dragons and dungeons game that everyone always talks about. I want to play a sci-fi game, or I want to play a game that is surrealist as a way, or I want one that I can make completely homebrew. I think this game would be perfect for that. TROIKA would be perfect for that. So please check out What Am I Rolling. If you're also interested, if you're like, no, D&D forever, and you show me a big tattoo on your chest that says D&D forever, that's okay. We also have the DM's Book Club, which is a weekly book club podcast where we talk about some Dungeons & Dragons and discuss how we might include them in our role-playing games with Hamilton, who was here earlier in the chat. And we've done Planescape, which, again, as I said at the beginning of the stream, Planescape, the pre-order stuff is out today, and it looks very exciting. As we've done a Travel Book Club, which is like a spin-off series of the main one, and we just see what we like and what's our fancy, because ultimately we always talk about other RPGs in the D&D club, and then soon to be our GM's Book Club, which will come out hopefully in the next couple of months when I've done the edit notes. We talk about D&D in that, so it's not it's come for the RPG chat. Stay for people who know a little bit, like a tiny bit about things. The final thing I'm going to plug. I should really. We've got a Discord. If you enjoyed this and you want to chat more about TROIKA, if you want to chat more about different RPGs that we've covered here at What Am I Rolling, or just want to chat, we also talk about homebrew stuff, come check out our Discord. It's really fun. The final thing I'm going to plug, because I won't be doing too many of these streams as much as I would be doing, In future, because I will be running an Alien limited series on Girls Run These Worlds, I will have to do like a command button for that. I did not do that this time. Which is going to be, we're going to run through the Destroyer of Worlds, which is the second cinematic scenario in the Draconis strand. The first series is up for people to watch and view, and it went really, really well. We're going to be starting the second series next Thursday at 7:30 BST, or wherever that is in your own timelines, and that will be on Twitch at Girls Run These Worlds. Really looking forward to that. I really love Alien. We've got a really good cast, and it's just going to be super, super exciting. But thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. Have a good evening, and I was going to say, where's the thing? I am going to switch screens. I now have the thing that's set up so I don't look awkwardly over here. I look awkwardly down here. But I want to say thank you very much. Always keep role-playing. Always roll dice. I don't know. Get new dice. Do what I do. Get new dice. And if you want to get some new dice, if you go to Tabletop Dominion, again, I need to set up an offer code, I think, for that. Go to Tabletop Dominion, get some dice, get 10% off if you put the word WAIR, WAIR, into checkout. There you go. Anyway, I've talked long enough. I've sort of waffled to the end, but thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next week. We have, what is it next week? 1,000-Year-Old Vampire on Wednesday. It was going to be a much later stream because I'll be coming back from visiting folks, my relatives and stuff, but it'll be 1,000-Year-Old Vampire by Tim Hutchins will be the next one I'm going to do for this. Alright, I think that's everything. I apologise. I really should get a script going for this, but never mind. Anyway, I'm going to wave awkwardly at the screen as I press the button and say bye-bye for now.